guys, Lemmy here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're doing a YouTube artist collective piece, and the theme is urban legends from your home country. So if you don't know what the YouTube Artist Collective is, it is a whole bunch of YouTube or artists on YouTube that come together every few months or so, and we all make a picture or a painting based off of a theme, and that theme comes from one of you guys. You will suggest themes for us, we'll put them together in a poll. The most popular option that we're okay with doing, we will all participate in. So that happens every few months or so, and we have some really popular artists that are part of the collective, some not as popular artists. I'm probably on the not as popular section, but we have like a whole bunch of, you know, big names and smaller names, and we all come together and we do this every few months, and it's really cool. This is the 14th theme that we're doing, and I'm actually really super excited for this one because I think it's one of the better ideas that we have to go off of. I really think this theme is very cool, to have urban legends from your home country, because it's a way of kind of spreading your culture and sharing different stories with people on the internet, you know, all over the world. And it's kind of a way to get to know different people, and I don't know, I just think it's really super cool. So I'm really very excited about this theme. I'm also kind of bummed out because some artists that are from different countries that I know aren't participating this time, and I am super sad because it would be so interesting to hear their stories. So I'm a bit bummed out about that, but a lot of people couldn't participate this time because of holiday sort of things, and they didn't want to rush, and I guess it gets kind of stressful. So I'm so sad about that, but I really pushed myself because I'm like, I gotta finish this because I gotta participate. You know, people have to participate. That's what makes it interesting. So we're gonna do urban legends. I'm from America. I'm from New York, so we're doing the Headless Horseman. To be completely honest though, this isn't something that I would call an urban legend because it was written by a guy as a horror story, and that guy's name is Washington Irving. This was like a while ago. He wrote this fictional story, and inside that story there is a urban legend, and that's of the Headless Horseman. So, you know, it was made up by some guy. It wasn't like this thing that was like organically made by the people in the actual area. So I don't really think of this super much as an urban legend, though it kind of has more become that. And to just be completely honest with you, it was either the Headless Horseman or I would have to illustrate the flesh-eating albinos of Buckout Road. And I didn't really want to draw that. I mean, to be completely honest, I actually looked up urban legends from New York in my area, and those two seem to be the biggest ones. And I guess I'll just tell you really quickly the story of the flesh-eating albinos. So there's this road in a place called White Plains called Buckout Road, and it's a creepy road. It has trees and stuff. I guess people are scared of it. I don't know. I mean, I live in an area with tons of trees, and it doesn't bother me, but it scares them apparently. You go down the road, there's a red house, you turn your lights off in your car, you honk your horn 3 times, and like flesh-eating albinos come out of the forest and try to kill you, eat you, whatever. All I can really say is it must really suck to be that red house at the end of Buckout Road, because people will just go there and honk their horns at your house, and then that just must get really annoying, especially when there's a bunch of drunk teenagers or something doing stupid things, and they're like, let's go honk our horns at the house in the middle of the night. Like, that just seems really obnoxious. But at the same time, that was kind of the rival for the Headless Horseman, and I wasn't gonna do it. So, yeah, flesh-eating albinos on Buckout Road lost to the Headless Horseman, and we're doing the Headless Horseman instead. Okay, so the Tale of Sleepy Hollow. Basically, there's this dude named Ichabod Crane, and he's kind of like a homely, lanky, gross guy who is kind of superstitious, and he's like easily scared. He's a school teacher, And he's just kind of like this unlikable guy. I always thought he was an extremely unlikable fellow. And he really, really wants to date this girl. Her name is Katrina Van Tassel, and she's very rich, and she's pretty. She's got all that going on, and he wants to marry her because, I mean, he wants in on that. He wants to be like Ichabod Crane Van Tassel of the Van Tassels of Tarrytown. I don't know. Except that he's competing with this other guy, and his name is Abraham Brombones Van Brunt. So Brombones is his nickname. I kind of picture these three characters to look like this. I think of Ichabod Crane as Popeye, except he doesn't have like the buff forearm thing. He's just got like bony arms. So he's like an obnoxious Popeye. And then Katrina is like olive oil, and then Brombones is like Bluto, right? So that's how I picture it. I can't picture it any other way. So as I tell this story, those are the visuals that are going through my head right now. Fair to mention that Brombones is in better shape. He's kind of like a more rowdy personality. I think people really like him in the town, and just Ichabod is, just think about his name, Ichabod. No one likes him, okay? He's just like this sickly, ew, no one wants him. And yeah, there's a party, okay? So the Van Tassels decide to have a party, and this is kind of around, I guess, October, a harvest sort of party, and everybody's invited. So Ichabod shows up, Brombones shows up, and they're like dancing and they're partying, and Ichabod is like, I'm gonna ruin this party because I want to propose to Katrina. So he proposes to her, but it's not like his heart was in the right place. He just like wanted her mad bucks or whatever. So he proposes and she's like, nah, I don't want that, and rejects him. So he starts to ride home on his horsey. And now I'm picturing him as like Yankee Doodle Dandy on his little horsey with a feather in his hat, and he calls it macaroni. And he's all depressed and he's crestfallen. So he's riding his horsey in the woods. And earlier that night at the party, Brombones was talking about the Headless Horseman. And I guess he was trying to be all like, look at me, I'm all macho. I'm not afraid of no Headless Horseman. And Ichabod's like, oh, I'm not afraid either. Except he really is, because he's kind of like a wimp. So he's telling him about the Headless Horseman. And he's riding home on his horse now, in the middle of the night. So he's starting to like hear things and see things, and he's thinking like, uh-oh, like, I'm getting nervous. It might be the Headless Horseman. He encounters a big fellow on a black horse, and he's wearing a cloak, and he's really large compared to the horse, like bigger than a normal person would be. And he was completely silent. And the teacher's like, Ichabod's like, oh God, like, and then he looks at the guy and sees that there's no head on this guy's body, right? He's thinking, uh-oh. And then he looks and he sees that there's this head of the guy on the saddle. So obviously this is the Headless Horseman. And he's like, oh shit. So he starts to ride his horsey really fast towards the bridge. And this is kind of where the legend says that this Headless Horseman is supposed to vanish. Like, he can only go so far before he'll disappear, and that bridge is where you have to cross to get away from the Headless Horseman. And I remember hearing this story as like a little kid, and I used to think like, oh God, the bridge. Like, you gotta get to the bridge, man. So he's riding his horsey as fast as his horsey can go, and he goes across the bridge. However, the Headless Horseman also goes across the bridge, and Ichabod's like, oh my God, and the guy throws his head at Ichabod. The next morning, people are like, hey, where'd Ichabod go, right? All that was found when they went searching for him was his horse wandering around, like his hats, like miscellaneous things, and a mysterious shattered pumpkin. Also, fair to mention that Katrina ran off with Brom Bones. So Olive Oil marries Bluto in the end, because I guess he's so lovable. I don't know. And the whole point is, like, did the Headless Horseman really exist? Did he really kill him? Or was it just this really lanky, lame guy who is very superstitious and scared of everything? Did he just imagine this all? And maybe it was Brom Bones that was in this outfit pretending not to have a head. Like, Brom Bones was much better at riding horses and stuff like that. And maybe he didn't actually throw a head at him. Maybe he threw the pumpkin at him. Or, like, what exactly happened? Did he die because he was, like, so frightened that it was the Headless Horseman? Like, what exactly happened there? So that's kind of like the whole story of the Headless Horseman right there. In a nutshell, told really poorly by me. Another thing fair to mention is that the Headless Horseman that everyone was talking about in the story was believed to be the ghost of a soldier that had his head blown off, clear off by a cannonball. Which, I mean, I don't really think it would cut his head off and then he could pick it up and throw it at people. Like, it would probably blow his head just like to smithereens. But yeah, he was supposed to be a ghost from a war that happened. I think somewhere near White Plains, which is kind of funny because that's where the flesh-eating albinos are. But yeah, that's pretty much the story. Also, this is as told by Wikipedia, because I don't actually have the book on me, and I wasn't going to go to the library because I'm lazy, so I had to paraphrase. But this is the story as how I remember it being told as a kid. But yeah, that's the legend of Sleepy Hollow. As for the picture that I'm drawing here, I wanted to kind of do a desaturated, kind of like storybook-esque picture here, but I don't draw spooky things very well. I just can't. There's something about me that makes everything cute looking, and I just can't draw spooky. It's just, everything's cute. So I kind of went with that, and I decided to draw a Headless Horseman, but like as a cat. So it's like a headless horse cat. And if you say Headless Horse Cat, I mean, I guess you could draw that in a whole different way, but it's the Headless Horseman as if it were a cat. And he has a little pumpkin with the little cat ears on it, and I just thought it would be kind of cute. So it's kind of embracing the I do cute things, but it's also supposed to be kind of dark. Kind of like the story with all like the trees and everything like that. But what I will say is that in the Hudson River area where this happened, it has lots of beautiful, beautiful leaves and trees and everything like that in the fall. So I didn't embrace that because I wanted to make it look creepier, so I put all dead trees and stuff like that. But it's not really, it doesn't really look like that. But still, even if you have beautiful trees at night, if you're walking through the forest, it's really insanely creepy. But yeah, I just thought for the visuals of this picture, I would go with the no leaves sort of deal and see how it goes. Anyway, next week I have something planned that's not something I exactly normally do. It's going to be about a situation that I saw happening on Instagram, and I wanted to get everyone's opinions on what they thought. It involves like art theft, or I guess theft of what is it? Mental content, whatever. Imagination theft. I don't know. I don't know what you would exactly call it, but it involves tracing, taking people's work, uploading it, and then giving credit, and if they don't give credit, and what's right, what's not right to do. So I want to get everybody's opinions on that to see if what this guy did was as bad as what this other person says he did. I just think it's very interesting, and I would love to get your opinion. So next week we're going to talk about that. It's not really going to be like a talky video. It's just we're going to talk about something that happened and see how people feel about it. So that's going to go up next week. I'll talk to you guys real soon. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope you enjoyed my video. Love you. Bye.